You're welcome back to the show. This is still GH Today here on GHOne TV. I am Lily Mohammed. My guest on Hard Talk this morning is Member of Parliament for Asante Akim North. In the last couple of days, his name has been in the media a lot. There are a few things. He was here a couple of days ago. There are a few things that he wants to clarify. And we also asked him about future. Is he looking at going back to Parliament, or is he eyeing the top job for the New Patriotic Party? And Appiah-Kubi is my guest this morning. Good morning, Tise. How are you?
Good morning, my sister.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I hope you're good too.
I'm doing awesome
very
myself.
Well,
Days after the election, how are you?
Well, I'm very well, thank you. And I've braced myself for the assignment ahead of me, particularly to finish up in Parliament and also get ready into my legal profession.
Were you in Parliament yesterday?
Yes, I was. I was. Well, we need to sit down and write a memoir so that future parliamentarians will learn something. We share our experiences, we share our pain, we share our glory, and then we will also discuss the way forward and how you prepare yourself to come into Parliament and into politics generally.
We'll talk about your pain and then your glory, but you were here days ago and there are a few things you want to clarify. What are these things, sir?
Yes, thank you very much. And let me indeed express my appreciation for the opportunity to come back and correct some misconceptions and misinterpretations. I was here the last time, three days ago, and I was discussing a policy statement that I intended to flout into the public space. Indeed, I need to also commend the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Honorable Abu-Jinapo, because I've ever discussed these issues with him before, and he had bought into these concepts, and he had even wanted to form a committee for us to look at it. Incidentally, I come here to discuss the same thing, and I said that my proposition was that let Ghana look at a review of natural resource contracts that we have as a way of blocking leakage in the revenue stream. And I was not referring to a particular regime. I was referring to even the first natural resource contract.
Okay.
And up to now, whatever has happened. And let me just put it on record. I have seen a few of them. All that I've seen, I'm not satisfied with the provisions, particularly the terms. And in all cases of negotiation, you give and take. You give rights and take responsibilities, and you win rights, and you also give responsibilities. That is the essence of contract. But what I see is that in most cases, we cede more rights than we need to give. And then we take more responsibilities that we need to take. So the contracts are not balanced in terms of the expectations of the general public. So I say that where we see that we can improve upon certain terms of the contract to the benefit of the country, why not? We need to review. And in all cases, in fact, I give this as a general prescription that you go into contract. Make sure that there is a residual clause that says that at a period in time, you will review. Because at any time, when there are changing circumstances, contracts ought to change as well, so that you don't put yourself in a contract that is straitjacket that you cannot even brief. So in all natural resource contracts, the maximum ought to be like 5 years. Every 5 years, we need to go back into the terms, and we need to be flexible to be able to.
So we need to review after every 5 years.
We need to review, because those people who were contracting at the inception of the country Ghana, 1957, the dynamics were very different, and in fact, the technology and know-how and even capacities were very different. And if they relied on the innate capacities, and in fact, most of them were very unconscionable. And sometimes you don't blame them, because at that time, not enough was known in maybe even contract law. So most people in those areas came in with native intelligence into negotiations. And people ought to take advantage of your contracting parties. So, and it happens all the time. So you cannot even blame them. But some of the time also, it depends on those who are representing the country. If the people were selected such that interest beclouded their judgments and things like that, it would be possible for the contracting party to take advantage of the country. So I'm saying that most of the contracts that I've seen, particularly the mineral contracts, you are doing royalty threshold of 3%, 5%, and the like. And particularly me, as an investment lawyer, having participated in most of these investment negotiations, you will see other countries negotiating from a very strong negotiating position and getting as much as they can in the revenue thresholds. So I say, why can't we, even if we don't do anything different, why can't we copy them? Go to, for example, go to Dubai and look at their oil contracts. You see that they are doing not less than 50% of the revenues of the investment. And apart from that, the local content provisions that are in makes it possible for local citizens to have employment as guaranteed by the contracts. But we give them free hand. They come here and the contracting is done too liberal, and sometimes they have the audacity even to import human resources that are even in the country. It should be foreclosed that human resource that you can find in the country, find it from the country.
But there are also arguments that the state lacks the resources.
Well,
and so if the investor is the one bringing in these resources, they call the shots. You cannot call for
No. It cannot be the case like that.
Okay.
And indeed, if we think like that, then they will take us for free.
Okay.
In all cases, he comes here because he needs what you have. So you are in a stronger position if you appreciate what you have going into the contract. Because
so in essence, we don't appreciate what we have?
Yes. And this one is also another issue that I want to bring for discussion.
Okay.
We don't know the value of the minerals that we have as a country. That's one point. And it's like you going to the market and you carrying your luggage to the market. You don't know the worth of your market value or the value of your wealth. And you go to the market, somebody comes to you and say, I offer you so much. And you are in a hurry to sell. Sometimes you come home and do your calculations and see that you didn't do well in the market. But I'm saying that in all cases, let us find value for what we have before we even engage. And indeed, in the past, we can forgive people who probably would have given people the right to come and prospect before they go into mining. But and in those areas where they were prospecting, evidence has given us time and again proof that people turned into taking the gold rather than prospecting to looking for where the deposits are and the values. You see, there's a difference between prospecting, finding the values and where they are, and the mining, extraction. So people who take prospecting licenses end up extracting the minerals. That's unconscionable if the contracting party will do that. And not forgetting the fact that at the time that we started the contracting, we didn't have the necessary human capacity in Ghana to be able to know what values and what minerals. And in some cases, most cases, the minerals come with supplementary minerals.
Okay.
Particularly in the bauxite. Most of the bauxite mining areas also have gold. So you contract on bauxite alone, they take gold for free. So we need to be careful to know what is there and what value it is. Then we go into negotiations.
Are you in essence saying that you are not calling for the head of Samuel Abu Jinapor?
Oh, how would I? Indeed, to be honest, the best natural resource contract that I have seen has come under his supervision.
Okay.
The lithium contract, it is even there that they go into local content and even do royalty threshold is there. Others don't have them. And I'm saying that let us review all of them so that where we can improve upon them, we do. And I'm saying, in fact, if there's anything to look at all, it will be the earlier contracts. Because at the time, like I'm saying, it may be the case that we didn't have the necessary competencies going to do negotiations, or were overawed by some influences. So in all cases, and again, I've given the fiat that we should have a provision, a residual one, that gives us the time to review and renegotiate. It's important because of changing times, changing circumstances.
You talk about the lithium and the lithium. Now, let me add the bauxite deal to it. The argument of the minority is that cannot be ratified because government is in transition. Should we wait for the next parliament?
True. In fact, we don't even have to get into transition period to go into a review of contracts. In fact, in all situations, if somebody brings any issue that will improve your contractual situation, why not? Listen to that person. And let us not forget that all these minerals are not for any person in Ghana. They are for the country Ghana. Even if you are a president and you hold it in trust, you are only just a trust holder, not a beneficiary of it. So let us make sure that we listen to every opinion, every shade of it, and let's see if we have a hybrid of opinion that will adhere to the benefit of the people of Ghana. And this is what I say. And you see, there is a write-up that I've read, and that is making reference to a particular contract. I am not even privy to that contract. There's a blue chip or whatever contract. I'm not privy to that contract. So I couldn't have discussed that contract because I'm not privy to it.
Okay.
But I have given a general statement that let's look at all natural resource contracts because I am very sure, indeed, and let me put it on record, I ever discussed this with Minister Abu-Jinapo many times. And he knew that I was very passionate about the concept of looking back and reviewing all our natural resource contracts. And indeed, I'm on record to have also commended him for this lithium thing. So it is not the case that reference should be made to Minister Abu-Jinapo or his term.
And your passion for review, will you support the incoming administration to do that?
Yes. In fact, the prescription was for them to consume.
Okay.
And in fact, it will adhere to the benefit of all of us as Ghanaians. And indeed, I had earlier on discussed that with Minister Abu-Jinapo, that, Minister, it's important we look at some of our contracts again. And I remember discussing some particular natural resource contract with him, and saying that these ones are unconscionable. However it happened, it didn't happen well for us. So he was in a position to form a committee for us to look at it. In fact, he promised me. Earlier, we had finished a committee that he inaugurated with me as chair to look at vested lands. We submitted our reports. And when we submitted our reports, he reminded me that I had earlier come to him to discuss this, and he was going to form a committee for us to look at reviewing of natural resource contracts. Indeed, maybe time was on his side, he couldn't do it. But that doesn't mean that we should leave it. I would be happy if this incoming government will form a committee and look at all of them. And indeed, invite the public to contribute ideas. People who have been part of those negotiations, come and tell us what it is that went wrong. How do we recover from them? So the prescription was not to criticize anybody, but to get us understand that we can do better in contracts. That's all that I did. And land administration, I also made a comment on land administration. There are situations that allodial landowners have found pain because of government behavior. And it is not only in this government. From time immemorial, various governments. Indeed, there is a case that I made reference to the last time, Tetechuru versus Attorney General, the wireless case. You see, the land was acquired for the purpose of putting up a receiving mask for GBC. It turned out to be that at the time, that purpose had been defeated. And therefore, government intended to use the place to build residential facilities for visiting presidents who were coming to the OAU conference in Ghana. So the La people went to court challenging the government that if the purpose is defeated, the land by law ought to revert to the allodial owners. Then the court said no, because the new use is also of public interest. You cannot say that the purpose has been defeated. So if the purpose is still in public interest, let the acquisition continue. That was the court. But if you look at the reasoning in that case, particularly read Justice Atum, he was focusing on Article 20, Clause 6 of the Constitution, saying that the purpose is defeated because the purpose was specific. And therefore, if the purpose was specific and defeated, the right thing to do is to go back to the allodial owners and make them an offer. Even if, for example, if you paid some compensation at the time, compensation could be calculated in future terms for us to know and compare with present values of the property and see who will have to balance who. And then we will do justice to the allodial owners. This is Justice Atum speaking. Albeit that he was in the minority. So the Supreme Court didn't uphold that reasoning. But come to think of it, now as we speak, all these properties have slipped into private hands. So
there's a need for review.
So, you see, and I made reference also to Boteman lands. By an ordinance, public lands ordinance. Those lands were acquired and compensation paid. But the compensation payable was in respect of agricultural lands. So the lands were acquired because they were agricultural lands. And the people hurriedly gave the land because it was for use of Ghana, University of Ghana probably, as a research center for livestock. So when you consider a landowner giving land to the state for the purpose of using it as a research center for livestock, you know, the state interest will override your calculations in terms of revenue accruing. And therefore, these people may have given their land to the state, considering the interest of the state in the research project, and for which reason compensation may have been suppressed. Now, as we sit now, we have various development schemes for those areas. And therefore, the land use has changed from agricultural to commercial. So you say that because the landowners gave this land to the state for pittance, for the purpose of agricultural research, now that is turned, the land use has turned into commercial for banks and other interests to locate therein. They are not entitled to anything. Is that what the state is telling them? I think that is unconscionable also. It's wrong. So I'm saying that in all cases of land administration, let's consider the interest of allodial owners when land use changes and when purpose is defeated. So we cannot let them go wallow into poverty like that when other people are enjoying their lands and they're enjoying the fruits of their lands. So this is what I'm saying. And I'm not limiting it to one regime. All of us have done badly with reference to allodial owners. So let's go back to the drawing board and look at how we...
all right. In your beginning submission, you talked about your pain, your success. Were you really poisoned?
I don't want to continue the discussion because it brings me bad memories. In fact, I endured some pain, but God being good, I have survived. So I think that's the end of the story.
But if you say you have endured some pain, is it an admission that you
very
were poisoned?
painful, very painful. Yesterday, I heard that somebody also died out of some poisoning. I say, this person has suffered because I haven't seen pain like that in my life.
Does it bring you regrets?
No, It's an experience. And I share it with people so they get careful. That's all. But I also thank God that I survived
Would you encourage your son or your daughter to go into politics?
Oh, why not? But are we not in politics all the time? Even home politics.
But you say you've gone through the most painful experience ever.
Yes, on that occasion. It is not my entire life in politics, no. On that occasion. And indeed, if people who were there will tell you what happened, you would also, I'm sure you would sympathize with me. But I also
are you retiring from politics?
No, I'm retiring from constituency and parliamentary politics, that one, yes. But not, I'm a political animal. I cannot retire from politics, absolutely.
Are you someday eyeing a top job in the NPP as a flag bearer?
Oh, I don't control the future. So
is in the pipeline?
Let destiny show the way.
Posterity will judge.
Posterity will judge.
Okay, thank you very much for coming. That's Andy Appiah-Kubi. He's Member of Parliament for the Asante Akim North. Our talk continues after this video.
Sister, when we're looking at national policy, let us not be partisan.
Okay.
You see, it doesn't matter. If you are president of Ghana and we are all submerged into the sea, we are all gone.
Absolutely.
If you are president of Ghana and we are all drinking honey, we are all drinking. So it doesn't matter.
Collective good.
The interest is the same.
Okay.
That Ghana must be seen to be a place of glory and honor. So whoever will bring it, we should submit to it and enjoy it, rather than praying for all of us to go into the sea whilst the country is left for others. So partisanship is good when we are competing. But beyond the competition, we should look at our country. How do we develop our country? That is the question for everybody, notwithstanding where you come from in terms of political standing. And I'm that kind of person who is aspiring to get as many people as possible develop into a state of statesmanship.
Okay.
So that we will think of our nation first before we think of the things that divide us into positions.
Thank you very much for coming. Andy Appiah-Kubi is the Member of Parliament for Asante Akim North.